Group Therapy by Winslow Swan. Narrated and produced by Edward James Beesley. There were 5 people sitting in a circle on metal folding chairs, staring at everything except each other, waiting for the occupant of the last chair in the circle to arrive, all of them expecting nothing. They stared at the floor, the ceiling, the door, the posters on the wall that had the usual sayings of "hang in there" and "tomorrow is another day." 5 people, 3 women and 2 men, all dressed in various clothing from the upper professional to the down and out, all of them expecting nothing to come of this session. The original group had been 12, all seated the same way that they were now. Each week a different therapist or analyst would come in, sit down and do pretty much the same thing that every other group had done. There was always the talking, the telling of deep, dark secrets from a deep and very dark past. There were the tears when someone had the epiphany that whatever it was that had brought them to this group was right and they were exactly where they needed to be to get better. The room was large, something like a gym sans baseball hoops and bleachers. It was really cavernous for such a small group, and a couple of the people wondered why this week's session was being held in such a wide space.
"Where the hell is this guy?"
The question came from a Stan Masters, a sometime meth user who had been to every group since the inception, was the one to speak up for what everyone was thinking.
"Maybe he just got caught in traffic,"
Jill Peters said, a kleptomaniac who had a fortunate fate of having a father that was a captain in the local precinct.
It's like 10 at night. What traffic?
Randy Spears asked. He was there for possession of a joint. He had not been court-ordered, no one there had, but had started at the urging of his girlfriend.
"So, what do we do?"
Stan asked. The only other 2 in the group were Carla Wilson and Marge Sanders, both of them sitting close together, holding each other's hands in comfort and silence. Since coming to the group 10 weeks ago, neither one had said a word as to why they were there or the reasons behind it. This week, the 2 of them seemed expectant and more nervous than usual.
"Well, we could just start without him,"
Jill said, looking around for some sort of confirmation to her suggestion.
Yeah,
Randy said.
Why not?
"That might be a bad idea,"
Marge finally said, the first thing that she had uttered since coming. Her eyes were wide with fear, and she clutched at Carla's hand tighter.
"What are you talking about?"
Stan asked.
"Haven't you noticed that 7 of us are gone?"
Marge asked.
"So, people come and go at these things,"
Jill told her.
"It ain't like this is mandatory or anything."
Marge only looked at the floor.
Whoa, what do you know?
Randy asked.
We both know,"
Marge said, never looking up.
"We are the last ones, and this is the last meeting." "Well,"
Jill said,
"I hope this doesn't go on much longer. I do have things to do."
Yeah, at night? Like what?
Randy asked her. Stan said,
"Hey, easy, pal. Let's just go ahead and start, and maybe the doc will be along shortly."
"How do you know it's a doctor that's coming?"
Marge asked.
"Maybe it's something that you would never expect."
"Well,"
Stan began,
"we can go ahead and start, and then catch whoever it is up to speed. Now, why don't..."
"You said something. Don't you mean someone?"
Jill asked Marge. Marge looked at her companion.
"Carla moved in with me 10 weeks ago, when we met here for the first time. She hasn't said a single word. She just showed up in my apartment, brought in 1 suitcase and planted herself on my sofa. I have asked her to leave, but she doesn't have anywhere to go. I can't ask her to leave anymore, not after what she showed me."
Marge smiled. The others in the group shuddered.
"What do you mean by showed you?"
Stan asked.
"I really don't think that you want to know. Sometimes not knowing is best,"
Marge said with a smile.
"We've all been coming to this group therapy for the past 10 weeks. 7 of the original 12 have left for various reasons. I met everyone at that first meeting and made notes. I don't like to pry, but sometimes people talk to me without my asking them to. I get all kinds of information, like full names and addresses.
Hey, lady, I don't know what you think,
Jill began.
Please,
Marge said.
let me continue. I try to stay in touch with all of them. However, every week for the last 7 weeks, someone has vanished.
Vanished?
Stan asked.
Horse shit.
Randy said.
7 people, 1 each week, has completely disappeared off the face of the earth. Carla showed me where they went to. Believe me, sometimes it is better not to know.
So what are you saying?
Jill asked.
Are you telling me that they were killed? Or maybe you killed them, and this is your way of finally confessing? You haven't been chatty during these things.
Yeah, that's true. And you did say you got full names and addresses,
Randy offered.
I know that I didn't give anyone my name or address. I just showed up, so maybe we're the last ones because this was the only way you could get at us.
No!
Marge said.
No, you don't understand. None of you do. This group is supposed to help us back onto the right track. Somehow, we didn't make it. This is what they mean by final retribution.
I don't have anything to be sorry about,
Randy said.
It was only one goddamn joint. My girlfriend made me come here.
Okay,
Jill began.
maybe I do steal every once in a while, and maybe I do have a father who gets me out of things, but so what? Doesn't mean I have to fall down on my knees and beg for forgiveness. No one has ever pressed charges. I'm sorry,
Stan said and hung his head low.
What are you sorry about?
Marge asked.
I was high, like meth. Backed out of the parking lot, didn't see the woman or the stroller that she was pushing. I was laughing when the truck hit the stroller.
The room went silent. Marge looked at Stan and said,
Sometimes it is better not to know.
Oh man, just look, damn it, just tell us what your friend saw.
Randy screamed at her. A shadow passed across the door.
I stole a syringe from a friend of mine.
Jill said, her eyes looking at the door with terror.
I didn't know that it was his last one, and he really needed the insulin. He died later that evening. Daddy got me out of the mess, and I didn't go to jail.
Oh man, well fuck all of you,
Randy finally said.
I haven't done a damn thing except smoke a little weed. That's all.
Are you sure?
Carla said, surprising everyone, even Marge, who now sat a little further from the woman.
Yeah, that's all. My girlfriend caught me, and it was my first and last time, and fuck all of you,
Randy yelled out.
That is some temper,
Carla said, her voice small and calm, unnerving the group.
Oh, so what? So I have a goddamn temper. What is it to you, bitch?
Randy said, standing over the small woman.
Hey, Vandy!
Stan said, raising up.
I'll stay the fuck out of it,
Randy warned him. Marge put her hands over her face, crying softly.
I didn't mean to start the fire.
Marge said through the tears.
I wasn't supposed to be smoking in the apartment, but I did. And the couch started burning after I had left. I must have dropped the butt between the cushions. 8 people, 3 of them children, died in the fire. And it was my fault. And no one found out.
Jill went to Marge and held her as she cried.
Oh, okay, so what the hell does all this shit mean?
Randy wanted to know. Carla smiled, saying,
Don't you know? Haven't you guessed?
I didn't kill,
Randy begun.
Kill who, Randy?
Stan asked. I mean,
Randy stopped. He sighed heavily.
Look, she just said that I shouldn't be smoking, not around the fucking kids. She just kept on, not shutting up, just keeping on with that bullshit about how one fucking joint could start to something else. Put my hands around her neck just to shut her up. And then she stopped breathing. She stopped.
The room had grown colder, and the 4 people began to shiver uncontrollably.
So what the hell did you show Marge?
Stan asked. Marge looked up and said,
Sometimes it is better not to know.
Carla stood and smiled. She walked slowly to the door, the only one the room had. The lights had begun to fade. Marge, Stan, Randy and Jill all stood up and huddled together, finally afraid of what the group was all about. Carla smiled and said,
"You need to join the rest of them. The other 7.
The shadow that had hung on the door began to grow, reaching almost to the ceiling. 2 burning eyes boiled from the shadows and looked at the group, sending chills down their spines. Carla began to take off her clothes. Her long tail uncoiled from the confines of her pants. Her face began to peel away, revealing a layer of red pulsating skin. As she pulled off her hair, the horns appeared out of her forehead. Her teeth were sharp, and her hands became talons. Marge looked over at the other 3 and said,
I walked into the bathroom while she was taking a shower. The tail is the hardest thing to hide.
A low, guttural laugh came from the shadow before it opened the gates of hell.
Epilogue. The butler did it.